So I wanted to take a few minutes with this video to break down two interesting PlayStation 5 stories focused on big news from last night, along with important information from Sony themselves regarding future PlayStation exclusives. And if you guys could hit that like button on the video, it would really help out a lot. And as always, I very much appreciate it. Now, the two stories I want to discuss in this video are focused on Sony boss Jim Ryan dropping some important hints towards future PlayStation exclusives, which has some people wondering about God of War situation, and we'll talk about that in this video. But beyond that, there's also, of course, the big discussion from last night about the removal of Cyberpunk 2077 from the PlayStation Store, and since then, the developers have responded. First, let me know if you're more excited for God of War Ragnarok or Horizon Forbidden West. It's going to be related to the Sony story in this video. Both of these games are dropping next year, and I'm wondering which one has the most hype around it from you guys. For me personally, it's God of War. That's just my situation, but of course you guys could be different. So comment below, are you more excited for God of War Ragnarok or Horizon Forbidden West? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, Cyberpunk 2077 getting removed from the PlayStation Store and the developers responding to the situation. So, when I first saw this yesterday, I was pretty much like, holy hell, they actually removed the game from the store. Is it that bad? I say that because I still have the game on my PlayStation 5 installed since day one, but I have not started it, mainly because I'm still having the debate in my head of whether or not I should just wait for the full version, the full PlayStation 5 version of the game to finally play it. But putting that to the side, as most of you guys know by now, Sony has removed the game from the store yesterday and is now offering full digital refunds to anyone who wants it, stating Sony Interactive Entertainment strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction, and we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store and those who want a refund. So when this came out, the whole internet blew up basically with the story about the game being removed from the store, and the developers since then have responded to the situation, and there's more to the story than most people have been reporting. So they state, following our discussion with PlayStation, a decision was made to temporarily suspend digital distribution of Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation Store. You can still buy physical versions of the game in brick and mortar stores and online. All purchased digital and physical copies of the game will continue to receive support and updates as we continue to improve your experience. According to our knowledge, starting today, everyone who is not willing to wait for updates and wants to refund their digital copy of the game can do so by submitting a request. We are working hard to bring Cyberpunk 2077 back to the PlayStation Store as soon as possible. So there you have it. This seems to have been a joint discussion between Sony and Cyberpunk CD Projekt Red, but I'm still sitting here wondering if the game was so bad that it needed to get removed, or were so many people asking for refunds that Sony just didn't want to deal with the calls anymore, because we've heard stories of their call centers just being battered with people asking for refunds, especially since CD Projekt Red said you guys can ask for refunds without actually making a confirmation like that with Sony or Microsoft. Of course, that situation is a whole thing on its own, but you guys let me know if you're going to wait until the PlayStation 5 version of the game at this point, or are you just not getting the game anymore at all? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the second story of the video, Sony boss Jim Ryan drops important hints for future PlayStation exclusives. This conversation was interesting to me because it possibly hints to varying game sizes going forward, and some might like that, some might not, especially for one game specifically here. So Jim Ryan sat down with Edge magazine recently and stated the following: "We just set out to make games as best as we can, and once the games are made, then we'll consider what the right price to sell them at is. We don't start out with the price in mind and then tailor the game to that price point. At launch, we do have a range of prices, and that will rightly and properly continue as we progress through the cycle. I think you're actually going to see some interesting variations from worldwide studios over the course of this cycle. With the PlayStation 4, we saw Uncharted Lost Legacy, for example, published in the middle of the cycle, and that worked out really well at that point in time. That model can work really well, and our studios are working on all sorts of things right now. For me, there are three things to take away from this conversation. Sony Studios are working on all sorts of things right now, the Lost Legacy comment, and the pricing of their games. So, Sony Studios are working on all sorts of things right now. This is obvious. Of course, their studios are working on games, but let's connect this with the pricing and Lost Legacy comment. He makes it sound like more games like Spider-Man Miles Morales will be coming, in the sense that smaller games will be more of a thing in the PlayStation 5 era going forward. This could also be a part of Sony's strategy to push out more games from worldwide studios. We've heard about that earlier on. By making smaller games, we don't have to wait years before games release, and pricing could be more attractive to more people with smaller game sizes. Games like Lost Legacy and Miles Morales have been successful, so Sony is definitely looking into that, especially based on these comments from Jim Ryan. But the worry, or I guess wonder I should say here, is will God of War Ragnarok be a full-fledged sequel to God of War 2018, or a midway game that progresses the story but isn't a full sequel like Miles Morales? God of War 2018 takes about 20 plus hours to complete, so if Ragnarok is a Lost Legacy sized game, it would be around the 10-hour game mark for Ragnarok, which is actually in line with how long the older games used to be from God of War 1 to 3. But you guys let me know if you would be fine with Sony exclusives possibly being smaller, especially for a game like God of War Ragnarok. Let me know down in the comments below, and if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with the big PlayStation year. Next year is set to be one of the biggest years for PlayStation, with games like Ratchet & Clank, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, all dropping in the same year, which is insane. And if you're excited for all of that, destroy the comment section with the big PlayStation year, and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.